This is a touchy subject. Let's talk about immigration. I'm a spiritual person, and Jesus said, "Love thy neighbor." After all, he kind of was an immigrant. Anyway, did you ever take under consideration that the people who were beating the drum about immigrants, Trump and Vance, married immigrants? Yeah, I mean, it's so comical, but it didn't sound believable. But they married him, and Trump, more than one. That's how it is. You know, seriously. In this country, there's always been a place for immigrants. You know, those jobs that you don't want to do or you don't want your children doing, yeah, immigrants do them. Because it's still a step up from the war torn craziness that many of them come from. When you go to a nice restaurant, go look at the dishwashers. Those guys probably don't speak a lick of English. They don't speak English. There are probably some Mexicans back there, and I don't want to be, you know, call out any particular nationality. But you know darn well, you go into a restaurant, the people that are doing the dishes back there, likely immigrants. Some of your waitresses, as soon as they learn to speak English, immigrants. You want fresh strawberries, blueberries? They got to be picked. The farmers get immigrants. When you go to a hotel on vacation, your housekeeper, likely an immigrant. And companies use these people. They're the low end jobs that they can't find people to do. Immigrants fill those positions. It's just a step before they move up into the population and something better. I had a roof put on my house. Met some cool guy. We were talking about it. He did the inspection and the company was well known. But when it came to actually guys hammering nails on the roof, well, these guys were all from South America. I was like, well, these aren't the guys all good. They did a great job. Jobs that regular people who have been established in this country won't touch. Immigrants do that work. How about that collapse of that bridge near Baltimore where the ship ran into it in the middle of the night? There was 3 guys working on the bridge, all of them immigrants, patching holes for your safe commute the next day. They all died, but they were hardworking guys. Everybody knows their stories. These were good guys, and they were working hard, 2 jobs, some of them, and then in the middle of the night, they perished when that ship hit the bridge and the bridge collapsed. But they were doing those jobs that we couldn't find other people to do. There's a place for them. And let's talk about the phony crime accusations. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to begin on this. Maybe you should look it up yourself. Here are the real facts. Non-citizen incarceration is 60% lower than U.S. born citizens. They're so glad to be here. They're not committing any crimes. They're shipped out immediately. And in every city, I know this is hard to swallow, but as immigration rates increase, crime actually decreases. It's just the opposite. There's always exceptions. There's always a couple crazy guys, just like there's a couple crazy guys on the other side are doing something. You're never going to be without exceptions, but the vast majority, and the numbers show it. Go look it up. Just look it up. And the real laugher, while Vance and Trump and all this cohorts are all beating the drum about crime from immigration, which is completely untrue, the real crime is homegrown. I mean, if you want to decrease the deaths of innocent Americans, you need to start with common sense gun legislation. Well, they fight that. Well, they really fight that. They're greased up by the NRA. They don't want anybody to touch that. Don't touch the guns. But we're the only industrialized country in the G7 that has tens of thousands of murders per year in the country. And we have somewhat of a mass murder, more than 3-4 people every single day. Japan had like one gun crime in the whole year. I mean, we're lost on gun crime. And if you wanted to commit a serious effort to cut back the deaths in this country from crime, you start with guns. Get over it. Change the Second Amendment. Make it more difficult to get guns. At least stop the possession of 17 and 18-year-olds from having machine guns. I mean, they're lost. They're completely lost on that. And the problem's not immigration. And you'll see after Trump goes nuts in his administration with immigration that it's going to hurt businesses if they start raiding hotels for some Hispanic worker who's, cleaning hotel rooms. How's that going to help anyone? It's just going to be higher room rates. And let's even talk about Springfield, Ohio, where now there was a company and the guy did auto parts. And he flat out said, yeah, he was on the verge of going out of business. The people in that town got together and sent for workers. We need workers. We don't have enough workers here. And this guy's been bragging about his little metal. He has a metal plant that does auto parts. And his worker, those Haitians were so good. That's how towns come back. They need people and they need workers. And Springfield, Ohio is a classic example of plants going out of business as people moved on to bigger cities like Dayton and Columbus for better jobs. So when you have those entry-level positions, immigrants will help you get the work done. Companies know it. And it's been that way for a long time in this country. And by the way, unless you're black or American Indian, you came from immigrants. Your forefathers or you immigrated here. So, get over it. Cutting back on immigrants is not going to solve any of this country's problems. Wages, executive pay, those are the things that you need to focus on if you want your communities to get better. So vote for a minimum wage. Get a union. That's what will help the American worker.